NBA fans, welcome back. This is going to be my first non-Sixers video in a while, but I'm excited to do it. It's one of my buddies, real good buddies teams. Let me talk about the Washington Wizards today. Are they legit? Are the Washington Wizards, the 10-3, number one Eastern Conference seed Washington Wizards, a real deal? I want to sit back and talk about it today. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. You guys tend to subscribe when I tell you to subscribe, so subscribe. I want to get 1,000 subscribers by December 25th. That would be a pretty great present. It's hoodie season. Let me put the hoodie on. I'm about to go play some ball too under the lights. It's going to be fun. I have this awesome basketball court in the neighborhood, and so many people come out, and we always get like good 3-on-3, 4-on-4 games. It's pretty great. Let's talk about the Wizards. So the Wizards are sitting pretty at 10-3 right now. They were just down by like 20 points against the Pelicans. They came back. They won that game. Are they the real deal? I think this is the best Wizards team in a while. I am a huge Wes Unseld Jr. fan. I really, really like him. I think he's a great coach. The way he has a very calm demeanor about him. He's not a big screamer. The way he kind of brings teams back. I am on board the Wes Unseld Jr. Train, if there is one. If not, I'll be the conductor. Why not? I'm not really a Wizards fan. I tended to always like to watch them lose because I don't know why. I think it's because I like seeing my friends like not happy with how their teams are going because like I know I'm never happy with the way the Sixers are going. But that being said, I kind of really like this team. I was one of the very few people before the season started that had the Wizards as a top 7 team. I think I had them at 6. It may have been 7, but I had them above Boston. I had them above Chicago too. And I initially made that prediction because I thought the Russell Westbrook trade that they did was absolutely perfect. And I thought it was perfect because Russell Westbrook had a very bad beginning to the season, and the way Russell Westbrook tends to go is like he usually sucks, but then he turns it on and just triple-double after triple-double, and that's exactly what he did last year towards the end of the season. I mean, he was the reason the Wizards ended up making the playoffs. He had that serious push where he was just dominating for the last 2-3 weeks of the year, and he brought that team into the playoffs. And obviously Philadelphia beat them, as we all know, but Westbrook had a very good ending to that season. And so what Washington decides to do is basically trade him at his highest. The highest value that Westbrook could have possibly had a return for, they made that move. And instead of going out and after maybe one guy or two guys, they decided to go and get a plethora of depth. And it turns out that's exactly what the Wizards needed. I mean, Kyle Kuzma has had a resurgence of a season. He is a seriously great rebounder. He's a very underrated defender. The dude's averaging 9.5 rebounds a game as the small forward, power forward. I mean, he hustles. He really hustles for rebounds. He's a very good energy guy, and he has had a great season so far in Washington. Montrezl Harrell has been awesome. He has been awesome. He has defensively, weirdly been really, really good. I don't know if that's going to hold on and stay true for the whole season. I don't know how much I believe in Montrez in general. I think he's a cool player, but I don't think he's a good playoff guy. But the Spencer Dinwiddie part of that is just amazing. I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie is the perfect Robin to the Bradley Beal Batman. And what's even more interesting is I've always been a huge fan of Bradley Beal, but I've never known I've never been known to be like he is a 1A guy. He's a top tier guy. I've never really thought that. I think Bradley Beal is the best number 2 option on an NBA championship team that you could possibly get. I think he's like Anthony Davis. I don't think Anthony Davis is just the number 1 on a winning team. I've never thought that. I think statistically and historically, that statement's accurate, I think. And I think the same for Bradley Beal. I just have never seen Brad as the number 1 guy. That's not a knock on him because I think Beal is an insane stud, and I would love to see him in a Sixers jersey, of course. But Spencer Dinwiddie, low-key, is that fourth quarter Batman that they needed. He kind of is like an alpha on that team, and Bradley Beal's more of the beta, and that's not saying he's a better player than Bradley Beal because I think we all know he's not. Obviously, we've seen what Bradley Beal can do over the past couple of years, but Spencer Dinwiddie really fits a need that team has needed since years. I mean, how long? How long has a Wizards team been good? Like, genuinely good. I know they had a couple 49-win teams with Bradley Beal and John Wall, but those teams were I mean, they were okay. Marcin Gortat, remember him? That dude was hilarious. But Spencer Dinwiddie really is a great addition to that team. I mean, he just had 27 in that game against New Orleans, I think, when they came back and won that game. He has been everything that they've needed offensively, and defensively he's been better than I've expected him to be. That's just such a great trade for them. They added so much depth. The Wizards look good. Deni Avdija, somebody that they have been so high on, that they went crazy because he slipped to them in their top 10 pick 2 years ago, who had a terrible rookie season under Scott Brooks, because Scott Brooks is an atrocious coach who, thank God, is out of the league, has found his way into being a really successful player in his second season in the NBA. I mean, he has had some really good games. Defensively, Deni Avdija is nasty. I mean, he is a very good defender. He's been a very good player in his second season so far and under Wes Unseld, and I'm honestly really excited for him for that. I like Wes Unseld. I like Deni Avdija. Corey Kispert hasn't really gotten a lot of time, but I mean, he's a rookie. Let's see what he can do when he gets his playing time. Like, I'm not going to be sitting here and saying he was a bust, because people were calling Cade Cunningham a bust 5 games into his career, and obviously he's back to being Cade Cunningham. Like, we need to give these guys a little bit longer of a leash than we normally do on social media. But the team's pretty good, man. This is all without Bradley Beal having a good season. I mean, Bradley Beal is statistically having the worst season of his NBA career. He's shooting under 30% from 3. He's shooting, I think it's high 30s% from the field in general. Low 40s from percent of 2. Really bad statistically. He's averaging less than 10 points per game compared to last season, if I said that correctly. He's averaging 10 points or less than he did last year. Whatever. That's, my brain hurts now. So they're 10-3 without a contribution from their best player, which is pretty insane to say, guys. I think the Wizards are legit. I don't think they're the number 1 seed legit. I think Milwaukee will eventually pass them, Miami, probably Brooklyn, but who knows with the Nets, man. But I think they're a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference right now, maybe top 6. I think they're better than the Knicks. I think they're neck and neck with Philadelphia right now, which is not the nicest thing to say as a Sixers fan, but I think Washington's pretty legit. I think they're going to be a playoff team without a play-in game, which is pretty huge for them, dude. That's a really big... They went from trading Bradley Beal over the offseason and saying this is the last year, he's done, he's gone, they got to just see what they can get for him, to let's build around Bradley Beal again, because they're being successful. They chose depth over star power, and it's really seems to work. I think one reason that it really just works is the fact that a lot of these guys were just kind of like, not the outcast, but kind of hated on and given up on other teams, and they all kind of seem to collectively come into Washington and just grind their asses off every single night and winning games. I mean, you look at Kyle Kuzma. That dude basically got shunned out of LA as soon as LeBron decided he didn't like him anymore. People clown on Kuzma like constantly. He's one of the most clowned on dudes in the league, but he's a pretty good player, guys. Like, he's a pretty legit NBA player. They have just... Spencer Dinwiddie the same way. Brooklyn could have easily re-signed him, and they literally were just like, we just don't want a backup point guard for Kyrie. It doesn't make any sense to me, but they decided just to not sign Dinwiddie, and Dinwiddie comes over to Washington, and I mean, he's the man. He is the man as expected, and I'm excited to watch. I like this team. I tend not to like the Washington Wizards, but this Wizards team's a little different. They really have this grit to them, this will to win, should I say, and it gets them W's, dude. Like, this team hasn't lost in a couple of weeks, and bro, I'm on board. I'm sincerely on board for this Washington Wizards team. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're pretty good. Tommy Shepard's done a great job as a GM right now, and the way that they've constructed this team around Bradley Beal, all without Bradley Beal playing well, without Thomas Bryant, and with Davis Bertans, who is got to be the most overpaid player in the NBA, outside of Westbrook, of course, they're winning. And if you look back at how it all started, it was a John Wall trade for Westbrook, and John Wall hasn't played a single second of basketball this year. Houston basically just shut him down. So, I mean, they got to dump that salary off of their books, all the while bringing back legit depth that has been defensively really, really good, which is the most surprising aspect of this entire thing. Their defense is just very, very good. They seem like they're a very well-coached team, and right now they're running. So let's see if Washington can keep it up. I think this deserves a video. I'm absolutely going to make a video the moment Luke Walton gets fired because, dude, as a secondary Kings fan, I genuinely, I can't stand that guy. I don't understand how Luke Walton has a job. So drop in the comments how you think Luke Walton has a job or what you think about the Washington Wizards. I will be streaming tonight, 9 p.m. against the Denver Nuggets. Go Sixers. Peace out.